It's not really, hey, Win, it's not written in standard form, so I don't think we can say really that there's an A and a B and a C right now. You could, but there's a way better way. Way faster way.
I wish they put these
Just staple them to the front. Up here, just to make sure we're all good, should be x equals 1 plus or minus root 5, or you could have x is equal to plus or minus root 5 plus 1. Either way, same thing.
Oh, wait, just kidding.
All right, let's do one more.
That's all. You know what? I should just like not even ask you guys to take off because they're always
Hey guys, he told me Ty Costi lost his book and I opened up.
All right, give it a shot.
Hey! What? You're a horse.
Oh, that's a 5, bro.
It's 22, right? Dude, I think you need to get your eyes checked out.
Bro, I'm wearing contacts right now.
Kids, what are you doing?
Adding 17 and 3.
Either got this thing right, or the only reason they missed it is like maybe a little minor detail that could be fairly easily navigated. So maybe we're not 100% of the way there, but we're getting really close. This is awesome. So I don't know how much time you spent doing this. Did anybody consider whether this is factorable or not? Doesn't
I considered it and then I was like, oh.
Doesn't it take not much time to realize it's not factorable?
Yeah.
I mean, AC is 1. Which factors of 1 add up to be -6? No, you can tell pretty quickly it's not going to work. So, since it's not factorable, we need to turn to a different tool. And the way I like to think about this is this. Would you agree with me that this 1, as far as being factorable, isn't the 1 a big part of the problem?
Yep.
If the 1 was just some other number, like a special number, we'd be able to factor it. And so my first thought is, 1, since you're the problem, why don't you go to the other side? So I would subtract it over and I would get x squared minus 6x. I'd leave a little blank there and I'd put equals -1. And then I'm going to continue on this idea, this quest of how do I create something that is factorable when before Koi, Jaden? What's going on? Is it a phone?
No.
What's going on? You guys are just like focused on something under the table. Okay, so I just need your focus. This way, up on the screen. Thanks. All right, so we need to find the special number. The special number is right now this blank. We need to figure out what it should be. This is that little trick yesterday that took us a little while to get around to, but we got there. What do I need to do to find a special number? What do I do, Joe?
Divide -6 by 2.
-6 divided by 2 is -3.
And then square that.
And square that. -3 squared is 9. And that's our special number for this one. So what do I do with that? Well, I put it right there where I want it because that's going to create this wonderful factoring situation. But I can't just do that, can I? Got to add it to the other side too, right? Whatever I do to one side of an equation, I've got to do the same thing to the other side to maintain balance. So plus 9 on the other side as well. On the right side, I end up with 8. And on the left side, well, it wasn't factorable, but now it is. How does it factor?
Oh, to 3, x minus 3.
How did you write it, Koi, when you factored it?
X minus 3 squared.
Okay, yeah. So this would be, to me, if you can go to that, that's the best way to write it. Maybe use your boxes or whatever to get there. That's great. This might be the right time to do this. X minus 3. Have you seen that minus 3 ever before?
Yes.
Where did you see it?
When you divided the b by 2.
Wasn't that minus 3 the half of b?
Yes.
And look.
Wait.
So this is a little trick to this one. Use or not, whatever. But if you do this right, when you do this completing the square thing, when you factor, the number in there really should be the half of b that you used before. It really should be. If it's not, there was some kind of a mistake made somewhere.
So that's how you can check it too.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Should always match up. Okay. So then all we need to do now is the thing that you've already proven to be pretty good at, and that's square root both sides. So it'd be x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus root 8. So you need to add the 3, so it'd be 3 plus or minus root 8. If you get to that stage, you definitely have the correct answers, but it did say to simplify them completely. And so I'd need to break that root 8 down. It'd be 3 plus or minus 2 root 2 for my final fully simplified and all that stuff answer. Okay, good? Bad? Questions? You're all at least really close, if not there. All right, let's make number 3 our last one of the day, last one of the week. Here we go. So it says round to the nearest tenth, so use your calculators at the end. And any time deciding if that factors. It doesn't take long to figure out that it doesn't factor. So let's think of this as the negative 9 is the culprit. The negative 9 is the problem. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get it to the other side because it's the thing causing the problem. So this would be x squared plus 2x. Leave a little space equals 9. Now we got to figure out our special number. Our special number is going to go in that blank right there. How do we do this? We look at the b, and what do we do to the b? And it's the square. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So that means my special number, the one that's going to turn this into a quadratic that does factor, is 1. So plus 1. As you know, you can't do that unless you also add the same number to the other side. So plus 1. This now gives me x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 10. And keep in mind, I started off with a quadratic that did not factor. And if I've done this right, it now factors. So the left side should factor like this. X plus 1 squared equals 10. And then we finish by square rooting both sides. So x plus 1 equals plus or minus. I asked you to round to the nearest tenth, so maybe use your calculator here. I think this is 3.2.
Yeah.
If you round to the nearest tenth. So I would get x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus 3.2. So my two answers would be 2.2 or negative 4.2. Yeah. What do you guys think?
That's what I got.
Fantastic. Okay. That's solid. Have a great weekend. See you guys.
I'm gonna go to the arts building lobby.